Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
You know, it seems like we constantly hear about how Social Security is going to run out of money. But you know what? We never hear about welfare or food stamps running out of money. What's interesting is the first group worked for their money, but the second group did not. Good morning, Zeb at the Ranch. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Oh, thank you, Kate Smith. I love that lady. Thank you so much. And good morning. I'm Zeb Bell at Zeb at the Ranch. And, of course, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. And some of our great advertisers, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. And our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And right now, vroom, vroom, world-noted mechanic and car fixer-upper. Good morning, Gina.
Well, good morning, Sunshine, and how are you?
Oh, I'm looking forward to the weekend, and that's no kidding.
Me too. Honestly, I'm tired with everything that's been going on these past couple of weeks. I think it finally caught up with me. And so last night, I actually went to bed early, and I'm still tired. So this weekend, I plan on doing nothing.
We went to a dinner last night and with some wonderful, wonderful friends of ours. Well, as a matter of fact, you remember Alex and Barbara Lissau.
Oh, yeah.
And they took a call to a new church up in Ashton, and so they're up there in that area now. Well, they came back down, and we had dinner with some of the congregate members and the pastor and his wife last night, and had a wonderful time, only I definitely broke my diet.
Again?
Yeah.
Well, what did I tell you last? Well, maybe it was earlier this week. Just forget about the diet until after the first week.
You know what, though? I can't do that. I've just got to lose this extra weight. I don't feel good. I feel heavy, and everybody says, diet. You don't need to go on a diet. Yes, I do. Anyhow, thank you for all you do. We got a busy day ahead of us, and do we have a pledge?
We have Jerry on for the pledge and Mr. Michael Rogers on for the weather.
Very good. Thank you, Jerry. Quickly, the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jerry, thank you so much. God bless you, my dear friend. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, sir. He is gone, but I appreciate Jerry Voss. Very nice man. Hey, we've got to get to the weather real quick, and the weather forecast brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design. A little bit later on this morning, excuse me, I'm choking to death here with all the bean dust. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley, 678-6945. Look for the blue door. Whitney's going to be on the phone with us a little bit later on this morning, and she's going to be, I forgot to tell Gina that, and Gina's going, oh, really? You didn't tell me that. I'm sorry. You know, as a matter of fact, we didn't go through everything yet, did we, Gina? We got sidetracked. I'm sorry. But anyhow, I got to tell you a whole bunch of things. She's going to be really mad at me. I'll call her during the break. Why did we not do that? We stopped at Dog Nation, and then we just got on another subject.
That's okay. I'll call Deanne and we'll go through it.
You know, I am so sorry because it just dawned on me that we started visiting with each other and we forgot it.
We got off on a tangent on a specific topic that we're going to be talking about later on, and we just never went through the rest of it.
I am so sorry.
You know, I didn't even catch it either.
Oh, Lordy. Anyway, back to the commercial that they're paying for. Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Don't forget they're going to be on later this morning. Great ideas for redecorating your house and also a lot of repurposed furniture. You stop in Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley, 678-6945. And here right now is Michael Rogers' weather.
Hey, good morning. Another nice day of sun, very little clouds, mild temperature, 75 for the high, 62, 58 for the overnight low. They'll continue right up into the weekend. I have some information for you, possibly, maybe some weather action over the weekend. But so far, another nice day in the Magic Valley of South Central Idaho. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Hey, Michael, you still there?
Yes.
We just need to make a correction that November 2nd is the fall back on the time, not this Sunday. I just wanted to make sure that we...
I just been told that, and you know, the first time in 30 years I was wrong. I'm really upset.
First time in 30 years, huh?
But I'm never wrong. I'm going to see Dr. Phil now because this really bothers me.
Well, listen, say a prayer for me, too. Thanks so much, Michael. We appreciate it. God bless you, man. Thanks. Michael Rogers Weather, the best weatherman in the universe, brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Hey, Gina, we got to sell some cattle. Merv, come on in here.
All right, you get the steer calves there here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5.
Oh my goodness, that's the chant of the world's best doggone auctioneer, and that's Merv May over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Sale time 10:30 this morning. They might even start earlier because, boy, they got a ripping good run today. Number to call for more information, 678-9411. I'm going to go through the list, and if you're looking for calves, folks, I'll tell you what, they got calves coming in today. Cuno Ranch is over at Declo, 75 head of calves. Kirk and Sherry Southern. Hello, Kirk, you old roper, you out at Sublet, 100 head of calves. Gloria Parker of Richfield's bringing in 25 head of calves. Bill Wickel coming off the hill at Elba, bringing in 110 head of calves. Chet and Kim Brackett from Three Creek bringing in 35 cows. And then we've got Bob Park over to Malta bringing in 125 calves. And Dean to Shannon at Richfield bringing in a semi-load of calves. And oh my goodness, he's going to get out of bed and go to the sale. Dave Zanino over at Paul, 20 head of steer calves. Lyle Steed over at Stone, 66 head of calves. Wendell Cutler at Hayburn, 25 head of calves. Greg Peterson. Oh, I'd love to tell you his nickname my wife gave him when they went to high school. He lives up at Cary, 45 head of calves. Brian Schultes of Blackfoot, 39 Holstein heifers. And the P-Bar S Dairy, 50 head of Holstein heifers. And Spencer Land and Livestock over at Yost, a semi-load of butcher cows. Holy cow, are they having a ripping good run at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard today at 10:30. For more information, call them at 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, you get the steer calves there here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and I sell them $1.35. Zeb Mail, get the bottom again.
No, I tell you what, great price right there. Thank you, Merv. Appreciate it. And calls are welcome right now at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. We got a lot of things to talk about. In about 15 minutes, we're going to be calling on the trail Grant Gerber, attorney Grant Gerber from Elko. He's on the trail. They have reached, I believe, the border of Kansas and Missouri, and on the Cowboy Express going all the way to Washington, D.C., and so we're going to have him on the air at about 8:30. Don't forget Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, Scott Gano and the rest of his very professional crew at 336 South, 450 West of Paul. And if you've got sprinklers, boy, don't forget to get on the list to get those blown out before the cold weather wreaks havoc. Boy, you don't want that to happen. Get them blown out. Yep, get on the list. And don't forget, too, if you've got trees that need to be pruned properly, that's fun to say, prune properly, fruit trees, ornamental trees, shade trees, they do the job. 438-2485, Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. You know, I got to tell you real quick, too, that we're being lulled into a false sense of security with this really nice Indian summer. And look at that sunshine out there, blue sky, and then all of a sudden one of these mornings we're going to wake up and go, holy smokes, turn the heat on. Well, when you go over to your furnace thermostat and you turn it up and you're going, the furnace just doesn't want to move. Well, hey, maybe you better call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-0459, and get your furnace serviced and ready for the chilly temperatures. Your old bare feet hit the floor, you'll thank me for telling you this, I'm telling you. And don't forget, too, they've got all the air filters for your furnace, the best. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I was listening last night to all the news regarding ISIS and what's happening over on the Syrian and Turkish border, regarding what's happening with the Ebola scare. And by the way, yesterday I had a meeting to go to. So I came in the house and cleaned up a little bit, and while I was doing that, turned on the television set. And I listened to the CDC report, the news report from Atlanta. And please tell me I'm wrong, but that doctor that they have given out the news reports from the CDC on Ebola, he is about as encouraging as Dracula. I said this once before. And I came away with a lot more fear than I came away with anything that sounded positive. As you know, very unfortunately, the gentleman died from Ebola that had come back from Liberia. And now there are others that are showing symptoms. There are others that might have contracted the disease. We are living in some very dangerous times. They don't know how to handle everything. There have been many miscues by hospital staff members. There have been many miscues of handling some of the material, etc., by fire department officials and the police. They don't know. They don't know. They've never had this happen before. And I noticed this morning that LaGuardia Airport employees are walking out on the job. And you're saying, well, wait a minute, what's that got to do with Ebola? Well, they're afraid. They're afraid that they might touch some of the equipment or something will come in contact with them that might give them this deadly virus Ebola. They're afraid. And you can't blame them. I was listening and reading a report about the vaccine. And I want to just tell you, this is not meant to be a scare tactic, but you need to be educated. All of us do, on what is and isn't happening with Ebola. Don't trust some of the cowboy coffee shop members. I mean, believe me, I'm not trying to run down cowboys. I'm of that sect. But I'll tell you something, you better listen to facts. And at 10:30 this morning, we're going to have a gentleman on the air that's very well versed in what's going on with the Ebola problem. His name is Lowell Ponte. And you've probably seen him on various shows like Hannity and O'Reilly and other talk shows, all the news shows. Very well respected. And he's written a piece about the Ebola vaccine and how long it takes to develop, how short the supply is and will be. And we have problems. We have problems. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, every day that I get on this program and I talk about Denny's restaurant, I just absolutely, it brings hunger to me because I think about their delicious breakfast menu. I love breakfast more than any other meal of the day. I think about all the delicious sandwiches that they have for the luncheon menu, and then, of course, all the dinner specials. Oh, my goodness, the food is fantastic, and the service is equally fantastic. You're going to love going into Denny's. Yep, 611 Overland in Burley. Denny's restaurant, and they've got right now the pumpkin pancakes. Oh, they look delicious. I'll bet they are. Have some pumpkin pancakes for breakfast at Denny's restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley. And don't forget, our next Zeb's Lunch Bunch will be on the 30th, a Halloween party at Denny's restaurant. Also, real quick to Valley White Home and Ranch, you know, they've got everything over there. And I'm talking a little bit now about those of us that have pellet stoves. Don't forget they got the wood pellets for you. You can buy one bag. I don't know how long that's going to last you, or you can buy a ton. They've got them all over there. So if you need one bag, they can help you. If you need the whole ton, by golly, it's there. And they got all the feed for your livestock, your cows, your horses, pigs, chickens, dogs, cats, birds, whatever you need to feed. It's at Valley White. And the people that understand all the products, they can tell you what you need to know. Right there at Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. You stop in and see them this morning. Okay, come on, give me some calls, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Another story that came up yesterday, I started this a moment ago, is when you talk about the word arrogancy, and you talk about the word egotism, when you look those words up in the dictionary, I am almost thoroughly convinced that you will see a picture of President Obama next to those words. This man is so egotistical and so arrogant, he thinks he knows more than anybody else that is a expert in a certain field. Excuse me. I will bring to the point that our generals have sat in meetings with President Obama, not only in the Oval Office, but in the War Room and other areas. Our generals that know, our generals that have had their feet on the ground, their boots on the ground, they know what's going on. They've seen the strategy. And our generals are telling him that the current airstrike program to get ISIS is not working. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of effort. But he is absolutely committed to have it his way or the highway. You know, these generals know war. They are the cream of the crop. They have led a life of military and schematics and everything else. They know. And for the president that is nothing more in his life prior other than being a community organizer, to tell generals how to fight a war, if you're not convinced that he's an egomaniac with an attitude, something's wrong. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. I just got to do this quick commercial. Snyder's Surplus, 112 South, 200 west of Rupert. They've got everything over there. It's not just army and hunting supplies. No. They've got everything over there for you. They've got your office furniture, couches and desks and office chairs. And they've even got Halloween decorations and costumes. Ooh, they can scare everybody. And then, of course, they've got all the bunk beds, and they've got new shipment of combat boots, all of this and much more. New merchandise, new facility, great people. Snyder's Surplus, 112 South, 200 west of Rupert. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, Zeb. Hey, you know, that's exactly what Obama wants to do, is waste our money. He's just trying to burn out our military and everything else. And so as long as we don't have anybody that's got enough gumption in the Congress to do something about it, he's just going to waste every penny he can.
I wouldn't even hazard a guess as to how much money we've already used to blow up empty buildings. We have an agreement that we will go in and we will notify the civilians in the area that there's going to be a bombing run. But you do not have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that if the civilians all of a sudden grab a camel and start running, you know ISIS is going to be aware that there's a bomb coming soon. So basically, we are not getting the bad guys. And the only way you're going to get the bad guys is to maybe figure out a time, a place, and there have been many, to where we can set a trap and all of a sudden say, adios, amigo, welcome to the land of 70 virgins. And we're not doing that.
You know that they use the civilians and stuff as shields, and so there's no way that we're going to be able to get to where they are.
So why are we wasting our time and our effort and absolutely the taxpayer money? I mean, let's come down to the bottom line. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of having my dollar bills blow a crater into an empty building, and the bad guys are sitting over there with AK-47s laughing at us.
Well, and the other thing, too, Zeb, is why are we not, if we're going to fight a war, let's fight a war and stop this pussyfooting around. I am so tired of them sending our troops over and saying, okay, now you're going over to war, but don't put any bullets in your gun and don't hurt anybody, you know. Let's if we've got to send ground troops over there, let's get them over there and get the fight done and get it over with.
I want to see...
Like we did, you know, with Saddam Hussein. Get it over with.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I want to see a fighting force over there on the ground that is meaner than 7 Doberman pinchers guarding a junkyard. I want to see people go in and literally clean up the mess and say after it's all over, sit down, look at the sky and say, thank you, Lord, and we got rid of the bad guys. But you know something? When Obama pretends that he knows more than the generals, we got a problem.
Well, you know good and well that all he's doing is protecting his buddies.
Well, I'm inclined to agree with that, not necessarily with all that verbiage, but you know something? I'm not going to argue with you, my dear. Yeah, I appreciate your call. Good to hear from you.
Amen. We'll see you.
Thank you. I think she's spot on with her synopsis. I like that. Hey, don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental. These are really, really good folks that have all your equipment needs. Now, the nice thing about Barry Equipment and Rental is they have 3 easy locations to stop into. Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, South Lincoln and Jerome, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with old Nick and the crew. They've got all your aerial lifts. That's right. They can get you way up in the air, Junior Birdman. And, of course, they've got all the Coyote tractors and the Doosan loaders. Great selection, great financing. Yup, Barry Equipment and Rental. You need to get a hold of these folks today in Twin Falls, Jerome, and Burley. Time for another call. You know what we'll do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the Capital Press Ag Minute real quick, and then we're going to go to Grant Gerber. We're going to find out how he's doing on his Cowboy Express ride all the way to Washington, D.C. So right now, here is the Capital Press Ag Minute.
The Capital Press Ag Minute is brought to you by OnlyAg.com.
The Environmental Protection Agency has extended the comment period on a proposed rule that it says will clarify its authority under the Clean Water Act. The comment period is now open until October 20th. The rule aims to clarify the agency's authority over inland water under the Clean Water Act. Their current jurisdiction, based on several U.S. Supreme Court decisions, includes navigatable waters and waters significantly connected to navigatable waters. Critics argue the proposed rule would broaden that to include intermittent and ephemeral streams such as the kind farmers use for drainage and irrigation, and would narrow the scope of what are considered normal farming and ranching practices. With the Capital Press Ag Minute, this is Hannah Brous.
To receive instant, exclusive, unlimited access to the West Agricultural News Source, register your account today at CapitalPress.com.
Oh, thank you very much, CapitalPress.com. And we have a caller with a remark. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Zebby kind of sounds like Adolf Hitler to me. He wouldn't listen to his generals either.
Well,
look what happened to Germany.
Yeah, I know.
I think we ought to send an army over there, but I think it should be grandmothers that are angry as heck. And that would tell them that every one of them that died was going to hell. No other place for them because they'd be killed by women.
Well, I can't argue that.
I don't know of anybody that's more vicious when it comes to protecting their children or protecting their country than a woman. So I think that'd be a good thing to do.
All right. Well,
as far as the bombing, it's an absolute waste of time. They ought to stop right now. No sense. We should be risking our soldiers' lives for something that's totally a waste of time and totally worthless.
Well, when you have
you have a wonderful day.
Jerry, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it. We have a president that absolutely is, like I said earlier, and I'll stand behind it, he's a pathetic egomaniac. A pathetic egomaniac that absolutely has the arrogancy of knowing everything even though he doesn't, and superseding the knowledge and the abilities of these generals and how to fight a war to win. And when you have a president that's a community advisor and organizer, that's all he's ever done. I mean, he's never got his hands dirty, never had a real job, never had a payroll to meet to pay other people, and he is running a war. Please pray. Let's check with Gina and see if we have Grant Gerber.
Nope, go straight to voicemail.
I told him to be at that phone number, and
well, if he's on a cell phone and he's actually riding, he might either, one, don't have cell phone service, or his phone died.
Well, he told me he would make sure last night he plugged everything in. So if you want to give him a call in a couple of minutes and try it again, I'd sure appreciate it, would you?
You betcha.
I thank you so much. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear what happened with the EPA? Oh, it's a sad story. Please, I want everybody to get your handkerchiefs out for a few moments and dab your eyes. Can you believe why those poor people at the EPA have suffered the same traumatic experience that happened at the IRS? Yes, some of the very important emails from some very important cases that possibly will go in front of the court system. Why? They lost them. They can't find them. And they're so distraught. Wanna bet? And they're very worried. Wanna bet? And they don't know what they're going to do. Wanna bet? We buy into this. The American public being very naive and very gullible, the EPA has lost some very important documents and emails pertaining to these very important cases. Oops. They're gone, just like the IRS. And they expect us to swallow this hook, line, and sinker. Not me. I'm telling you, folks, this government is so corrupt, and this administration is so absolutely ignorant of trying to run an efficient staff. Now we're hearing this morning, if you've been living under a rock, get out from under the rock and start paying attention, that Secret Service members were paying for prostitutes on a government presidential trip, and the administration hushed it up that many were paid for on credit cards, and they tried to keep this bottled up until after Obama was reelected. But it's starting to come out. And guess who some of the principal people are that are involved in the cover-up? Oh, my goodness. Look at this name right here. Janet Napolitano. What? Isn't that interesting? Let's cover it up. Let's hide it until after Obama is reelected. Let's not hurt the presidential chances. Oh, no! Let's hide this from the American people. We'll lie about it. Like Jay Carney did at a news conference. You know, isn't it interesting that if you or I lie to the government, oh my goodness, we're in a heap of trouble, boy. But the government can lie to us, and that's okay. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I have been telling you every day about how blessed I am to not only know Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Why did I bite my lip on that again? We're going to start this all over again. Why have I not told you earlier about Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation? See, it's easy when you don't let your lip get between your grinners. And they're located at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. I tell you what, the staff really cares. Every time I go in there, and I have an appointment to get in their pool, the only pool of its type in the entire area, and do the hydrotherapy, the people are so nice, and they're so knowledgeable about all the mixing of exercises that are going to help me. They're going to help me. They have got a staff of people who work here, grew up here, and they understand what is best for you. They're helping you get back to being you. At Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Call them today, 678-1191. Okay? Calls are welcome and appreciated. And hold on a second. I'm getting an email from our engineer. I love the way she sends these. Short and sweet. She should have been somebody sending messages to the president. She says simply, "Got Gerber." I love that. What, baby food or the attorney? Good morning, Grant Gerber. How are you?
I'm just good. We're we've been going through Kansas the last couple of days, and just getting ready to cross the river into Missouri. We're going to see how good our horses swim.
All right, Grant, quickly, I know we're short on time because I'm late getting a hold of you. We tried earlier and we couldn't get through. The Grass March Cowboy Express. Tell everybody real quick why you're doing this and where you're going to end up.
Well, the theme of our ride is regulation without representation is tyranny. And across the West, the federal agencies are just pinching everybody down. But they're doing it especially hard in Nevada. They're shutting down rancher after rancher, and the worst that's happened to us in the last few years was the shutting down of the Tamaras and Filipinis on their range south of Battle Mountain. So we decided, after doing several other things, not getting the relief we thought we should get, we are now doing a Grass March Cowboy Express ride from the coast of California to Washington, D.C.
All right.
We left Bodega Bay, California, Friday last, and we're now just passing out of Kansas.
All right.
It's been a hard riding, hard going bunch, and we're going to be into Washington, D.C. next week.
Holy smokes. Now, Grant, give us a little bit of the logistics. How many horses, how many wagons, how many people, what time do you start in the morning? Give us all that.
It varies some, but right now we got 29 head of horses and 9 riders, and we got a chuck wagon and team of mules, but we haul the chuck wagon and team of mules except when we're going to get some publicity. But usually we either go 4 or 5 miles at a lope and then trade off and then hand off to the next rider, and we just keep it going. And we've been picking up petitions. One of the most interesting is there's 20 counties in western Kansas that have joined together on the lesser sage grouse endangered species issue, and they've sent a petition with us to Congress. So we're just gathering up these petitions as we go. We've got counties from lots of places. We don't have any Idaho county petitions. We've got them from Oregon, Nevada, and Utah, and now from Kansas. And any of your listeners from Kansas that would like to add a petition, I know the Idaho Jack Oilers group, the Idaho...
Sportsmen for Fish and Wildlife.
I can't remember what they are.
Sportsmen for Fish and Wildlife.
It's putting in a petition in support of what we're doing.
Okay.
But I got one of our riders here that you probably know, Bruce Clegg, and down in Utah,
yes,
commissioner from Tooele County.
Right.
He's going with us all the way. He's got a bunch of horses, and his daughter Amy is sitting right here beside me. You ought to get her opinion. She was just riding in the rain. It was just pelting down on us a few minutes ago. But would you like to hear from her?
Yeah, real fast. Put her on. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Amy. Can you hear me? Hello, Amy. Can you hear me? Hello, Amy. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Tell us quickly, this is not an easy ride. I mean, all the way from the California coast all the way to the Potomac, and present petitions against what's happening out here in the West. Why? Why did you want to get involved and help on this?
Well, I think it's kind of an historic event, and to let the government know that we do want our lands, and we do want the regulation to where we can have a say in what happens to them. We don't want to be told what we can and can't do. We understand that things need to be regulated, but we want a say in that regulation.
Now, Amy, what about the ride itself? It doesn't sound like it's a real easy ride. Have the people, the counties, the police, have they all been pretty helpful?
Man, we have had so much help all along the way. Through Utah, they were really great. We got to ride right along I-80 all the way, and they just let us go, and the cops come and talk to us, and people stop and talk to us. And then the only time we've been kicked off one of the major interstates was through Kansas, but they told us how to get to another road that would get us through and paralleled, and it has been great.
Now, are you going to stay for the entirety of the trip and go all the way to Washington?
I am. I didn't get to go to California. I had to work and get some things ready on our part there with the horses that we were taking. So I picked up at the Nevada-Utah border right in Wendover, and I've been riding ever since.
I would imagine you have to get started early in the morning. There has to be a synchronization to make sure that everything's going well. The food, the logistics of the travel, the cars, the pickups, this is quite an ordeal, isn't it?
It is. Jess has done a great job in organizing everything to work as a well-oiled machine, and all of us get along so well, and we're all maybe simple-minded, so we understand what needs to be done. We get in and do the work and get done what has to be done.
What's been the hardest part of this trip, this ride, for you and your family? What's been the most difficult part?
I really don't feel like there's been an extremely difficult part. Like I said, everybody does their part, and we have little things to do, but you worry about those little things and all the big things fall into place.
What about the logistics on the weather? I mean, boy, if it rains, you got to have your slickers, and we're looking at possibly cooler temperatures where you don't know what to dress for, you don't know what you're going to get as far as weather in the Midwest. Has that caused a problem?
It hasn't until today. This is the first day that we've had to stop and it wasn't because of the rain, it was because of the lightning. I was riding while the lightning come in, and it felt like it struck right next to me. I could feel it in my cheeks, the electricity. So I went and hid underneath a overpass until they could come and pick me up in the truck.
Oh, my goodness.
But that's been the only time that we've had any really bad issues with the weather. If it was just raining, it's been a warm rain, and we could continue riding.
Amy, tell me this. Do you have, like, any signage out in front of you? Do you have explanations as to what you are and what you're doing? Does the general public understand? Are you getting a lot of media to come out and cover this?
I definitely wish we could get more media attention for sure. But we have, like with you and with other radio stations, they've been calling and talk to us. But I wish we could get a bigger, broader. This is a great and a big undertaking, never been done before in this amount of time and with this few amount of people. So I wish that we could get more media attention.
Let me ask you this. Would it be possible that you could hand the phone back to Grant, and then I want to ask him about getting Jess on the phone possibly next week on Monday. So, Amy, God bless you for everything you're doing, you and your family, and thanks for being a part of the Cowboy Express.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Grant, one final thought. Are you there?
Yeah.
Now, okay, Grant, listen to me very carefully. I am going to be calling you on your cell phone and try to set up another time next Monday. Maybe then, during that call-in, we can get Jess Jones on the phone and talk to him, because he's kind of been the main coordinator and the main ramrod, if you will, of getting all the horses and everything. So good luck, God bless, and we'll talk to you on Monday. How's that sound?
Sounds really good.
Anything from your view?
Talking to you, Zeb.
Well, wait a minute. One last question, Grant, real quick. Do you think you're achieving the media coverage that you deserve on this Cowboy Express?
Not as much as we'd like to get, but we haven't spent a lot of money on people to get us the media attention. But it's growing as we get closer to Washington, D.C., and I think that shows like yours are a big part of a big help, and anything you can do or any of your listeners can do to get the media looking at it, because it is the issue of, it's the taking of the rights, the inalienable rights of American citizens, and we've even got Arlo Crutcher on, former chairman of the Indian reservation there at Fort McDermott on the Oregon-Nevada line, and they used to run 3,000 head of cattle, and now last year they couldn't run any. So the agencies are doing everybody in.
Grant, I just want to tell you, I've known you for over 30 years. God bless you for what you're trying to do and help these ranchers. I appreciate it. I'll be in touch, and we'll get you back on the air the first of the week. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Good friend of mine, Grant Gerber, attorney out of Elko, Nevada, and the Cowboy Express going across the country. They're going to be riding 2,800 plus miles, coast to coast, from California all the way to Washington, D.C., and they're going to be delivering petitions to Congress demanding relief from a very tyrannical government agency, and they're asking for your support. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Real quick.
Zeb, when those guys get back to Washington, if a guy can get in there with a knife and a gun and everything, I wonder if they could get in there and let the horses make a bank deposit with a few horse biscuits.
I'm sure that they're going to do all they can to let their message get out. Whether it's going to be perceived and heard by President Obama and other government officials, I don't know. But I wish them well, because they're fighting for the American West.
It's a good deal. Thank you very much for having him on.
All right. God bless you, Bob. Thank you so much. Got to do the weather forecast real quick, and the weather's brought to you this hour by Nicole Pratt of Mad River Laser. Love this business, and she does a fantastic business. She's making me up a whole bunch of business cards and sweatshirts and T-shirts and caps for Zeb at the Ranch. You better believe it. 502 East Street in Rupert, and she can help you with all your business promotional items. Absolutely. Get a hold of her today, 502 East Street on the Square in Rupert, Mad River Laser. And right now, here is Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers for Zeb at the Ranch. Good morning. Another nice day of a lot of sun, very little clouds, and some comfortable temperatures as we are well into fall. And believe me, you're getting some good fall colors in the Magic Valley of South Central Idaho. 75 again for the high today. Could meet 76, 77, but otherwise, another day of nice weather as we work our way toward the fall weekend. Enjoy the weather. So what do you got?
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Brought to you this hour by Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. Really nice people. Hey, just down the street over in Rupert is Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street on the Square in Rupert. My goodness sakes. All kinds of good people over there. And you can't find a better place to have breakfast, lunch, or supper right there at Sophie's Chatterbox. Open Monday through Friday, 6 to 6. Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 2. And don't forget, they've got a bakery in there that can bake up wedding cakes, cookie bars, homemade bread, and delicious cinnamon rolls. Oh, they're good. Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street on the Square in Rupert. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear, and I'm getting more information on this, that the Obama administration has okayed, and now this is all subject to verification, but I heard a report on Fox News, and then I started doing some checking on this myself, thanks to my lovely wife, and we're doing some more research, but there is a document, a booklet that has been printed initially up in Canada. And it is called the, I got to find it here right now, the United Against Terrorism. Now, that sounds really good, but in this publication, in the pages of this booklet called United Against Terrorism, there are certain parts of it that have said that the jihad is a good thing and that Sharia law is a good thing. And supposedly, and I'm getting the reports coming in right now, and various news agencies are confirming that John Kerry and the State Department have basically underwritten this United Against Terrorism little handbook and have basically okayed the use of some of the verbiage in there, okaying jihadism and okaying Sharia law. What? And I got a report in this morning that most of the Canadian government read this and said, no! And the Royal Canadian Mounted Police said, no! But excerpts of this supposedly were passed by the State Department in our country as being a quote-unquote good handbook. I don't understand what they're doing. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, last night, please, anybody that watched Hannity and sat there and he had a little panel on Hannity, and one of the panel members was Geraldo Rivera. Now, let's just be honest here. Jerry Rivera, that's his name. I mean, he all of a sudden thought that Geraldo is going to sound much more dynamic and get a lot more media attention, which, quite frankly, it has. But he used to be Jerry Rivera when he started in the news industry, but now he's Geraldo Rivera. And this guy is so absolutely against closing the border. And for those of you that saw it last night, he just got disgusted when they brought it up about closing the border and our military going down and manning the border, Texas, all the way to California. Why? Why are liberals so dead set against closing the border and we, the United States, being able to protect ourselves? I just can't figure it out. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I apologize for the kind of a crackly throat today. When they start beaning in the fall, there goes my voice. Anyway, don't forget a great big tire sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All the tires are on sale. All the different tread designs for your cars, pick-em-up trucks, and SUVs, horse trailers, whatever you need boats for. Or not boats for, tires for. That sounds better. And you will not find a better tire value promise and lifetime tire and mileage care than at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. They are the best, with the best of brake service, the best of shocks and struts, the best, of course, of front-end alignments, batteries. Boy, batteries. You better have your battery checked. It's going to start getting cold. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, Twist Family and Paul, John on Poline and Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, hey, the other day I was watching, just for a brief moment, George Lopez. He's a comedian, and he was down in San Antonio, Texas. And he had a huge crowd, and he was talking about, well, there 12 million of us are not going back to Mexico.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And then he said, he was talking about see, the area that the Hispanics believe that they deserve to get back in America is called Oxland, and California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, parts of Colorado, whatever it all is. And if you stop and think about it, they conquered that from the Native Americans, but the Native Americans weren't Native Americans either. They came over from Siberia. And so, when this kind of argument carries no weight whatsoever when you go back and understand the history of it all.
And I know what you're going to lead to right there, but I'm running out of time, and I just want to quickly say this. I'm trying to remember the treaty that shows and proves that the United States made purchase of this land, and I think it was the Treaty of Hidalgo. I could be wrong, but I can look it up. It's on my desk here someplace. But if you've seen my desk, which you have, it probably won't be found until the year 2020. But anyway, everything has been cut, dried, and legal. And I am sick and tired of Mexico being a crybaby about lands that they say were taken by the United States. Listen, what is done is done. What is ours, and what is yours is yours. And I'm sick and tired of you coming into our country almost with invasion forces without having the lawful means. And I'm fed up with it.
Well, the fact that they come here and they claim to be mistreated. At one time, we were in Mexico City, and we could have just taken, and it would have been part of America. We had conquered them because they started the fight. It's a long story, and we don't have time to get into it. We gave back everything. The only difference was there was a dispute over whether or not the Rio Grande was the border or another river apparently that runs parallel to the Rio Grande was the border. And so, see, we were caring, benevolent to those people, and we treated them as citizens, and now we get this mistreatment of the history of the facts. And one more thing, he said, we need to send you guys back to England. We'll build the Mayflower, and you can get on it and go.
I have one.
It was just such a disrespect. I mean, he's a millionaire, of course.
Yeah.
And how did he make it?
Yeah, right here in America.
Free market capitalism in America because of the Constitution.
3 words, Randy. 3 words. Remember the Alamo. Thank you, Randy. See you later. Got to run to the news. I'll be back in 6. Don't go away. No, I decided I better not let it go any longer. She gets upset. Nothing worse than a mad board operator, I'll tell you that. Good morning, everybody. Seb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. And, of course, some of our great advertisers, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Really good people. I want to remind you, too, about our dear friends, and they've been so supportive of this program, as I almost knocked over the microphone, Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, and they really, really are supportive of our lunch bunch, etc. Joel Heward, very, very nice person. The entire family, always working to help your family. That's right, helping you with the arrangements after the passing of a loved one, always with the highest ethical standards and unquestioned integrity. Unquestioned integrity. That is really nice to say about a business and a family. They are. Joel Heward, manager of Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, 436-5636. Once again, a little bit later on this morning, we're going to have Whitney of Cheney Flooring and Home Design on our program. And they're located at 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. I'm really interested in finding out about what she's got coming in for all the repurposed furniture. And I want to find out more about that. You should too, so stay tuned about 10:25 this morning. And that's Cheney Flooring and Home Design, where they always say they will meet or beat any price on flooring too. And the number is 678-6945. Look for the blue door at 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Oh, a lovely lady. And she's probably sitting in her office right now, looking out the window at the ducks floating down the Snake River, with the sun glistening off Mount Harrison. Here she is. Kay Cameron, how are you?
Good morning. Well, I have to say the river is beautiful this morning, but I don't recall seeing any ducks.
Oh, okay. Somebody go throw a decoy in the water.
But it is a beautiful day. What a beautiful fall day. And as I was driving to take kids to school and to get on with our day this morning, it's such a beautiful time of year. The leaves are all changing on the trees. It's beautiful. The harvest is in full swing. You see the trucks hauling their commodities. You see the beet dumps all operational, trucks all waiting in line, and I just love the fall time. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful time of year, and we're just blessed that we live in such a nice community.
It is, and boy, I'll tell you what, as being the director of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, your job is a piece of cake trying to sell this area because it's so doggone pretty.
It is. It's pretty. The people here are super friendly, which is always a bonus. I have people tell me all the time, I just can't believe how nice the people are. And so that's just a compliment to the people in our community, and it just really is a nice place to live.
Okay, so now all that being said, and we're looking at mid-October, and my golly, we all know that this can't last, but you've got some fall and winter activities coming up that I'm sure you want to highlight this morning.
Yeah, we have all kinds of things going on. Haunted mansions, if you're looking for a scare, head up to Albion over the weekend and enjoy the fright up there. I don't know that that's something I'm too excited about. I guess maybe I'm too big of a chicken. I guess one of these years I really need to go check it out, but I just hear too many scary stories. So that's a lot of fun, and people enjoy getting a scare. So if you're looking for a fright, that's the thing to do. But we have our annual Farmer and Businessman Appreciation Banquet coming up on November 13th, and so we're looking forward to that. And there's many other things going on in the community. I know next weekend is the Rail Jam and the Ski Swap at Idaho Water Sports.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go out and watch the kids, they'll truck in the snow, watch the kids ride the rails on their snowboards in the snow, in the parking lot. Always a fun time.
Absolutely. Now, I would imagine you're probably this weekend going to get the old lawn rake and go out there and start raking leaves, make a big pile, and then turn the kids loose so they can scatter them all over the lawn one more time.
You know, my kids would absolutely love that, but I don't seem to get enough leaves to rake into a pile at my house.
We'll bring them over to you in garbage sacks.
Yes. So anyways, no, we're just going to enjoy the weekend. I have a lot of tomatoes I've got to figure out what to do with out of my garden and enjoy the beautiful weekend. I was up in the City of Rocks just not too long ago, and the City of Rocks is beautiful this time of year. And so if somebody's looking for a drive, that's something they should do.
Absolutely. And if they have questions as to where to go, what to do, and what's available, there is a source, and it's called the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, come by and see us at 1177 7th Street on the Snake River. Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Find us online at minicassiachamber.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You've got that rehearsed.
So, yep.
Okay. See you later, Kay.
Okay, have a great one.
All right,
Bye-bye.
thanks. Kay Cameron, director of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Really nice people. Oh, let's pay some bills here real quick. Let's see what we've got. Oh, Let's Ride. Yeah, get your motor running. You better believe it. Stop over to Let's Ride. Now is the time, now, to get all your accessories and your snowmobile. You better believe it. They got new snow machines right over there at Let's Ride, Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Oh, my. They're ready for that angel dandruff to hit the ground. And along with that, they also, naturally, they got all your ATVs. Man, if you haven't been in there to see that showroom floor, easy for me to say, you better just peek your head in the door and take a look. They've got everything, all the colors, all the shapes, all the sizes, ATVs all over the place. And again, all the accessories. You better stop over. That is where the fun is sold. Let's ride. Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley, 436-4771. Really nice people. Gina, have you got just a second here? I want to visit with you for a second.
You bet.
You know, I think you're going to agree with me, but if not, difference of opinion never hurt anybody. I'm sick and tired, and getting sicker and more tired of the people that are complaining about sports programs and also football in particular. And I'm just going to stand up and say that I think, and if you want to jump in after this little dissertation, you can correct me. But you know, I've been involved in sports all my life, and I was pretty good before I lost my legs. And I absolutely will stand up and salute high school football this morning in particular, because it creates leaders not only on the field, but also in the classroom and in life. There's a dedication. There's a working together as a teamwork type society to get a job done and win. And the striving to win, which there's nothing wrong with striving to win. That makes people that are better individuals not only on the playing field, but also in life. And I'm very supportive of the sport. I'm very supportive of the coaches and the players and the ideals that football promotes. Now, Gina, as a mom, maybe you might disagree with me. Go ahead.
Well, actually, no, I don't, because I think that sports and football, basketball, baseball, what have you, when you are in a team sport, it creates not only the sense of community, but it teaches these kids how to work together, i.e., as
absolutely.
A team. There is no me in team, there is we. And so it teaches them not only how to work together as a team, how to get along with their fellow players, but it also does bring about leadership skills, because some kids are just going to be the natural leaders of the group. And so it does bring about, those leadership abilities. Plus, it also teaches them, focus and how to stay within the game. It teaches them a broad spectrum of skills that, that they're not going to learn through just books.
Well, and there's another word I like to use about football and the players and everything else, and it's a toughness. It's not just a toughness of the body. It's a toughness of the mind. And I know that there's been many Hollywood movies made, about football and like Rudy and everything else. But there was one movie made, and I want to talk to you about this a little bit, that it was fairly hokey as far as the concept. It had some big actors in it, and it was called The Replacements. Do you remember that movie?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And the gist of the movie is when the NFL went on strike, they brought in replacement players to play for a short period of time until the strike was finished and finalized. And then all of a sudden, these replacement players, they just faded into obscurity. But it was one moment of glory. After their high school and their college days, to go back and play pro ball and represent a professional team. And the gist of the movie, The Replacements, was that they were making a bid for the playoffs, and they were getting their butts kicked out of the stadium until a quarterback showed back up to lead the team and show the mental toughness, and they all went from extreme mediocre players in that game to extremely talented players, and they won the game.
I think Keanu Reeves was in that movie, wasn't he?
He was the quarterback that starred in that movie. But the point the movie made to me was, you can be down, you can be out, you can be a doormat, but if you'll look at yourself inside out and say, I can do better, the mental toughness that football and sports in general gives to people, I think, is irreplaceable.
You're not going to get a disagreement. I completely agree with you on that, because like with any sport, and especially a team sport, not an individual sport, but especially with a team sport, you really do have to look within yourself to find that courage to get out there and be with your teammates to bring your team up to the success that it can be. Now, the same could be said for individual sports, tennis, golf, things like that, swimming, whatever. But that's more of an individual sport, so it's you and not the team.
Well,
and so when you're talking about the team aspect, I completely agree with that, because not only are you bringing yourself up, but you're bringing up your teammates as well.
I can relate a little bit, though, to a story that you just mentioned about singular sports that are still on a team basis because of the point accumulation, okay? And that would be like competitive swimming as in the racing sense. I played all sports, but I think one of the most grueling on my body was when I was trying to qualify for the Junior Olympics in swimming. And I remember vividly our coach, Ed Steinbrenner, there's a name you're not going to forget, coming up to me and looking me straight in the eye before the 200-yard freestyle and saying, if you don't place in this race, we don't have enough points to go on. And he gave me a pep talk that I'll never forget. And I was not as good as the other competitors that were in that race. This was a big meet. And after his pep talk, it was like somebody stuck an Evinrude motor up my butt because I ended up placing.
Okay, so I could have done without the visual on that one.
I'm sorry, but that's the way it was.
That's great, though, and that shows, the motivation of how vital a coach can be to motivate his players beyond their abilities and their current skills, to really dig down within themselves and to put forth that effort that makes them stand out against everybody else.
And that is something, and for all the naysayers out there that want kids to go to school and just sit there like little roboticized figurines,
right.
But sports gives an incentive. It gives a want to try. It gives a want to win. It gives a want to excel attitude that you won't get anywhere else.
I completely agree, and that's why I am wholeheartedly supporting Kennedy and his, little flag football thing that he does. I think it is very important, not only for the social skills, but to have him learn what it means to be a team and give him that competitive spirit. He's not really a competitive kid, but now he's starting to be. He does want to win, and he made the comment to me at his last game, that they had won, but the game before they didn't. And so he's actually keeping track of who's winning and who's losing.
Yeah, and see,
the parents, we're not.
Yeah, but God bless Kennedy because he understands the concept of putting forth an effort and trying to be better than he was before he put his foot on the field.
Absolutely, and he enjoys going to practice, and he's only 7, but he's getting the concept of what it means to have your place within a team.
Yeah.
And to do your job so your teammates can do their job. So he's getting that concept. And that's what I think football, basketball, all of these other team sports, that they, cultivate that within the kids. And so they can take these skills onto their adult life.
I love that one part in the movie. I hate to elaborate on this, but, there's one part in that movie, and The Replacements was kind of a grade B movie, like I said, with big-name actors. But the concept, there was one part in the movie where they were making a comeback. And Keanu Reeves got in the huddle, and he just basically looked them all in the eye, and he said, we have to endure the pain. Pain does not last, but victory does. And he looked at one guy that was the center, and he had a head that was about as big around as an elephant. They didn't put his helmet on him. They had to paint it on him. And remember that fat face when he looked up after he got up to the line, and he looked at the opposition and basically said, here I am, boys, come get me. I mean, I love the attitude had changed to the point where he was going to win.
Yes, exactly. And, it's that type of attitude that I love so much, and it's that type of attitude that we need to cultivate in our kids.
And you know what? It needs to be cultivated in our government.
It does. So badly.
All right. Gina, I enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah,
thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you very much. Don't forget our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Absolutely the best. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. Dean Cameron, Todd Siemens. Dedicated and responsive to your needs. Very accessible and devoted to serving you. All you have to do is call them up on the phone and say, help! I need help! And they'll be there. They can help you. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert, 436-4424. Holy smokes, where'd all these dogs come from?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
We got dogs running all over the place. There goes a poodle. There's another poodle. We got poodles all over the place. Don't step in them. Anyway, good morning to Officer Ken Moore at Minidoka Animal Control.
Well, I'm not Officer Moore, but you get me instead.
Hello there, Gina Jameson, Minidoka Animal Control.
Officer Moore could not be here today, but we are going to feature a little lady by the name of Roxy.
Who?
Now, Roxy.
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 Okay.
She is a pit bull. She's a dark brown and white. Actually, she looks. Remember Spanky or the dog on
Our Gang.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Looks almost like him, except for this is a female. She's dark brown and white. She's approximately 2 to 3 years old.
Okay.
Now, she's a really nice dog. She's friendly. She loves people. She craves attention.
Whoa, stop for a minute.
Yes.
If a pit bull craves anything, give it to him.
Honestly, she looks like a sweetheart.
Oh.
And she's good with other dogs. She knows basic commands. She just needs somebody to work with her and show her some love and kindness. She was neglected, but she's not aggressive. According to Ken, she's not aggressive at all. She's got all of her shots. She's been wormed. She was an owner surrender, and she cannot, the owner can't take care of this dog anymore, so that's why they surrendered her. She is available for adoption or rescue now, and so if you want more information on Roxy, and I'm sitting here looking at her picture, and if I could adopt her, I so would, because she needs some love.
Wouldn't it be great, though? Think about this just for a second. Contemplate this.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be great if all of us had all of our shots and were wormed?
Amen. Amen.
We wouldn't have the problems coming across the border.
I know. That's why we would, Roxy wouldn't do anything.
Well, we could say on a kind of a job report, they've all had their shots and are wormed.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So anyway, back to the point. If you want to adopt Roxy, or maybe you just want to make a play date with her or any one of the other pups that are looking to be adopted into their forever homes, you can contact the Minidoka Joint Powers Animal Control Shelter, or just give Officer Mort a call at 670-7268.
Wait a minute, they have play dates?
Yeah, you can go out there and volunteer and play date and take one of the pups for a walk.
Oh, so you call up and you say, I'm so-and-so, and I'd like to have, 5, 15, 20 minutes with Roxy on a kind of a play date to see if we get along?
Exactly.
Huh.
Yeah, they
Okay.
would totally allow you to do that. Go in there and...
I could have done that with some of the dates I had in college. I'd have been a lot better off.
Probably so. But it gets you acquainted with the dog and the dog acquainted with you, and so you can see if, they would be a compatible mix to bring into your home.
Thank goodness that Deanne didn't use that type of therapy or trying to meet me. Can I have a play date with Zeb? No, I don't want it.
No, she says, no. You feel like she's giving you the eye from the other room.
I'm not going to get the eye from the other room for a long time. Oh, it's going to be chilly here. Anyway, Roxy's a good dog.
Yes,
Okay.
Roxy.
Okay.
So go in and check her out today at the Minidoka Joint Powers Animal Control Shelter.
Any other dogs you want to talk about?
That was pretty much the only one. Let's see what else do they have. I'm just on their Facebook page. Who else do they have available? They might have Pugly still available.
Pugly?
Pugly. It's a pug cross. He's a little guy.
They spend a lot of time coming up with these names.
They do, don't they? They
Yeah.
do. And actually, he will be up for adoption coming up on the 13th. So on Monday, Pugly will be up for adoption. He's just a little guy. He may be a little bit overweight for his size. He's friendly, okay with other dogs and people. He was a dog at large on Idaho Street in Paul. He does have all of his shots, and he has been wormed, and so he's good there. So you can check out Pugly. Who else do they have available? Gizmo. Gizmo is a little Shih Tzu.
Now, how dare you mention that on my program, because FCC is going to send me a letter.
I know. It's a dog.
Oh, okay.
It's Shih Tzu. And,
you love saying that, don't you?
I do, because it's the only time I can actually get away with saying that word. 4 to 5 months old, tan with black highlights, very loving and cuddly. Collar, no tags, was found near 305 3rd Street in Rupert.
Okay.
Taken to the animal shelter.
Shih Tzu.
Shih Tzu, and he is going to be available for adoption coming up on Monday. So there's 2 dogs that were basically found running at large, one from Paul and one from Rupert.
And what kind of a dog was it?
We've got a Pugly Cross and then a Shih Tzu. Can I say that again?
Go ahead, as long as they've been wormed and have their shots.
He has been wormed and has had his shot.
Okay, good.
Gizmo will be up for adoption.
All right.
Up on Monday, yeah.
I just wonder if Mort's with anywhere close to hearing this program this morning, if he's not just wondering about contemplating never coming on again.
Yeah, probably so. I know that he was on his way up to Twin Falls, but so he may be listening, and he's probably like rolling his eyes, or either that or laughing his guts out. I don't know.
Well, he's probably not going to catch any more Shih Tzus!
For a while, anyway.
Oh, dear. Kim Lee's just in the barrel pit right now. The engine's smoking, and he hit a sign that said, drive with caution.
Here's the thing, though. We can claim, because honestly, we're talking about the breed of a dog.
Absolutely.
A Shih Tzu.
Yep. That'll make his white and brown shoes turn different colors.
Well, we've got some cleaner here.
When he walks down a hall or something and it's halfway dark, you can just follow his feet.
Oh, he always looks so dapper, too. So dapper.
Yeah.
And he always matches, and he even matches his socks to his tie and his shirt.
How do you match socks to a pair of brown and white shoes?
You match it to your shirt and your tie.
Oh, so you don't care what the socks look like with the shoes?
Well, you're matching the socks to the shirt and the tie, and you match your shoes to the pants and the belt.
There again, therein lies the dilemma. Brown and white shoes, what do you pair them up with? You don't wear a black suit.
No, brown and white shoes, you would wear khaki pants and a belt, a brown or tan belt.
Nah, khaki's tacky.
You think so?
Yeah.
I like khaki.
Yeah.
I like khaki.
Okay.
Of course, then again, I'm the type of girl that will like camo, too, so.
Well, but you're not just a quote-unquote girl. I mean, we're talking somebody that could be the leader of a pit crew at the Indy 500.
I wish.
Yeah.
I could so do that.
Yeah, I know you
Give me about 3 months worth of practice. I could so do that.
I'd hate to see you with an air wrench in one hand and I don't know what in the other.
Oh, you know what I got to learn how to use the other day? And honestly, because I know that Groot is going to be calling here shortly, I got to use a steel cutter the other day.
No, and that was the highlight of your day.
It was. Honestly, it really was. And I got to cut some metal with it. It was awesome.
It doesn't take much to please you.
No, it doesn't. I'm easy.
Okay,
easy
thank you.
You're welcome. Read is ready, by the way.
I'll be right there. Stand by. Don't you forget, if you're having trouble hearing someone or hearing something. Did you hear that? What did he say? Why don't you get a hold of Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids right now? Christine Pickup, Doctor of Audiology, 1218 9th Street, Unit 2, behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room. And here's the number. Listen, 312-0957. Hear it? 312-0957. And hearing loss is not a part of aging. So if you're having hearing loss, you better get a hold of them today. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and you'll not miss anything. Call them up, make an appointment, have your hearing checked at Mount Harrison Audiology. Did you hear that? Okay. Well, let's go to the phone lines right now. I'm looking forward to talking to this lady as we do every week. I mean, she is so well versed on all the issues. Why waste the money on a newspaper when you can just call up Rita? Good morning, Rita. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Boy, you sound disgusted.
Oh, I am. I am so disgusted with our country, and a lot of our citizens who are sitting on their fannies and thinking they're doing something, but they're not doing anything,
I could not agree more. Okay, now, I want to start off on a very, very serious note. And it's something that right now there's more questions than answers. And I think sometimes it was put forth to us to be that way. And that's the Ebola crisis. Now, I've been criticized already. People say, well, it's not a crisis. Yes, it is. And could be a very developing crisis in this country. What are your thoughts? I've already written about mine in my newsletter, Cow Pies and Coffee Cups, and I've stated on the program, I think a lot of what's happening in this country did not have to happen because we were not prepared, we were not notified, we were not educated, hospitals, transit authorities, etc. were not aware. This is a major problem that was sprung upon us by the Obama administration.
Well, that leads to another thing. There's tons of things that we need to be prepared for, and we need to take proactive action on so that we can make sure that we're protected. And you know, the president's job, his number one job, of which he does not take seriously, he takes other things more important, is to protect the United States citizens.
That's right.
And what does he do to do that? How many things has this White House lied to us about? Oh, there's nothing to worry about with Ebola, and oh yeah, well, if we have the planes quit coming from there, it's going to hurt their economy. What about what's it going to do here?
That's right.
No, there was nothing at Benghazi. It was just an attack of a bunch of kids out there trying to cause trouble. They were just mad because of a video, and I mean, we can go on and on and on for probably an hour or two talking about the different things that this White House has lied to us about, and it's all because the White House people don't feel like that it's important that they do their job.
Let me ask you, Judge Andrew Napolitano said this earlier this morning, and it's so true. You and I cannot lie to the government. No, we can't lie to the government. But then on the other side of that coin, the government lies to us all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Remember the deal with Martha Stewart?
Yep.
It wasn't that she actually did insider trading or anything. It's that they said that she lied under oath, which she didn't lie under oath. They asked her some questions and she said no, and then when it all came out, it was like, well, you didn't totally tell us the truth, so she goes to jail for lying to the government.
Rita, let me ask you this. As a mom and a grandma, and I'm looking at it as a grandpa and a dad, I'm really scared about this. I watched that CDC interview on the press conference yesterday with a doctor that's the spokesman for the CDC that resembles Dracula. And I am not comforted at all as to A, how they're going to stop this, B, what they know about it, C, how it's going to spread, because there are many opportunities it might mutate into another type of virus, and D, the government's involvement in it is making it worse. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's absolutely right. I feel like that the government's involvement in it, they should be trying to protect us, so they should be putting up stops that will stop and say, okay, what do we need to do here? What do we need to do here? Having some people, actually out trying to make sure that there's some things coming about that we can watch for it and care for it. Just like that deal in Dallas. That was a sad deal that fellow came into the hospital. They asked him a few questions and sent him on home.
Yeah.
If they'd have been on their guard like they should have been for several weeks before, they'd have said, oh, this guy has some symptoms. He's black. He's from Liberia. We better just test him really close before we just send him on home again.
Well, there's been too many things happen because of a lack of information or the wrong information. When they cleaned out his apartment, there was actual handling of some of the bed sheets and some of the clothing with bare hands. Some of the nurses actually reached up and scratched their face or their nose with their bare hands. There has been a person that tried to wash away some of the mucus and other human liquids from this man. Out in the parking lot, he used a high-pressure hose and sprayed it all over the lawns where little kids play. Rita, they just don't understand.
Well, this is what makes you think, they say, oh, don't be worried about it. Now, are they really saying that so that we won't get worried and cause mayhem and panic? Or are they doing it because it's like, well, we're not really sure. We don't want to deal with it right now. We're just interested in covering up anything that we can about the elections, and so we don't want there to be a bunch of panic and everything, because this could pose bad for us in 3 more weeks when we're going to have elections and that kind of thing. Or are they just thinking, there's all different directions we could go if we jump on board my conspiracy train. Do they want there to be a big breakout that will cause mayhem and havoc so that they can have martial law? Do they want to lose a bunch of Americans so that they can kick in and have their Obamacare really doing wonderful stuff? I mean, how far do you want to go with this? It's really a sad deal because every community should be having their guards put up, and everybody's watching really close and taking, sure. They haven't said anything about that. Oh, I keep forgetting what the name of it is because I haven't heard it enough times. That virus that these little kids are getting that's a respiratory.
It's called the enterovirus.
Yeah, the enterovirus. That's a lot bigger than right now the Ebola thing here in the United States has been. We're not hearing about that either.
Yeah, well, let's go back to the source, though, before you and I get too far away and we have to backtrack. I'm advocating, and I'm screaming for politicians to get their head out of the sand and close the borders. A lot of these diseases, and the enterovirus may be the main source of coming across an open, porous border system where we don't know who these people are or what they're carrying.
Well, and that's exactly right, and I'm sure that you saw this last night on Sean Hannity. I heard it on various different things before that.
Yeah.
Is that there was a general who said, if Ebola makes its way into Central America or South America,
absolutely,
there will be an exodus across the American border faster than we can even do it, because it'll be like, we've got to get to America. They're the only ones who can take care of this and maybe help us.
I've got a note here, and you led me right into it, even though you didn't know I have it. Yesterday, I had Randy Givens from Austin, Texas, professor at the University of Texas, on our program, and he sent me the entire 21 pages of concerns about Ebola that have been under Rick Perry, the governor of Texas, and their concerns. And the way this is worded is that Mexico and Guatemala probably will declare these border crossers to be refugees and force the United States to take them.
Yeah, and I don't understand why we have to be forced to take them. Let them go to South America. That's closer than America.
Yeah. Rita, this is a mess, and I just wish that people not panic, but understand, A, their surroundings, B, the entire environment of what's going on, and C, what they can do to protect themselves. You might go to New York and get on a subway and hold on to the pole to balance yourself, and there might be the germs of the Ebola there. You might take a glass of water in Atlanta from a restaurant that wasn't thoroughly cleaned and possibly pick it up. How do we know what's safe and what isn't?
Well, we don't, and that's just the big problem. And if you want to go back to the border, remember all the issues that we're dealing with right now. But now we're not only dealing with kids coming across the border. There have been some, and I can't even remember now who it was that said it. I heard so many different things yesterday. Anyway, he said, it was Duncan Hunter from California, said that they know of 10 ISIS members who came across the border. And somebody said, well, how in the world do you know that? And he said, well, because they stopped them. And they found out that's what they were. And then the comment was made, if they stopped 10, there were probably 10 times that many that have come across the border.
Why not?
Or 40 times as many. And somebody chimed in and said, it probably wasn't that. It's probably more like 1,000 times that many. So there could be tons of ISIS people, and most likely are, coming across the border because we're not paying a bit of attention to it, and they're just getting ready for an attack on America.
Well,
why don't we close the border and stop all of these things from being a problem?
Tell me another country, audience. Tell me another country in the world that would let the absorption of refugees and or whomever, illegal aliens, come across their border like we do down south, and put all of our border states, Arizona, Texas, California, put all of the residents in those areas in dire straits and in very serious condition.
Well, and then the part that I kind of worry about is not only those border states, but, they become so saturated with others. It's like, well, let's head north.
Absolutely.
We can go up into Idaho, and we won't even be noticed.
I'm glad you brought up the enterovirus and the paralytic effects that it's causing, comparable to polio. And it all the more solidifies my absolute stand against parents that I think should be arrested for child abuse if they do not immunize their children. Do you agree with me or not?
I really do. I had my kids immunized, and I've told my girls that they need to be sure and do it, and they've done it as well. And I understand that there are a few circumstances out there where there will be something that will happen, but those numbers are so low comparatively that you just can't not have them inoculated.
Absolutely. Rita, I'm going to do a weather forecast, and then I'm going to go to a little bit lighter note, but really it's not. It's very serious. I'm sure that you're aware, and I'm sure you feel very bad this morning, that the EPA, oh my goodness, Rita, they're suffering from the same computer malfunction. Did you know that they lost some very important emails? Puff! They're gone, Rita. We'll talk about that in just a second. Right now it's time for the weather, brought to you by Lennox Home Comfort Systems. Gas furnaces, air conditioners, and heat pumps through our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call 678-0459. Here's Michael Rogers with the weather. Once again, I think he's ready now. Here's Michael Rogers with the weather. And perhaps Michael Rogers is not ready with the weather. Rita, you want to give us the weather forecast?
It looks sunshiny and nice out there to me, and we're not supposed to have a hard frost, so I think we're having a beautiful fall.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was Rita Ramsey with her imitation of Michael Rogers' weather, doing a great job. What about the temperatures for today, Rita?
In the upper 70s and probably the lower 40s for the low.
Oh, my goodness, this girl's good. Thank you so much. And the weather with Michael Rogers' stand-in was brought to you by Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox Home Comfort Systems at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Well done, Rita. Thank you.
Oh, cool.
Rita, the EPA. They all of a sudden have been asked for some very important documents pertaining to some various cases that might even go as far as the Supreme Court. But you know what happened? Comparable to the IRS, all of a sudden when they were asked for those special notices and emails, doggone it, Rita, the dog ate them.
You know, that's really, really a sad deal, and it doesn't surprise any of us at all that that's what they're saying has happened. We know that most of the congressmen and the senators in Washington, as well as many others, are all just one big club. It's a bipartisan club, and you have to pay your dues to get into it, which means you have to raise enough money to get on the right committees, and as long as you raise enough money for the elections to get onto those committees, you can buy yourself onto a committee, and then you can oversee it, and you can do whatever you want. It's not like they're saying, hey, no, we've got two sides to this. Let's debate it and see what's happened here. Well, is this ethical? Are these the things that are happening? Is government too intrusive? No, they don't want to do that. They all just want to scratch each other's back, help each other pull in money from the lobbyists, and take care of it, and that's all that they're doing. And so here's just another proof that, well, we've lost that important information. I guess my big question is we have a local congressman who is on the committee to oversee the EPA. What is he doing about this? Is he calling out people, or is he kind of sitting back saying, oh, I hope nobody notices what's gone on here?
Yeah, I agree. Rita, tonight is a very special night with a special person coming in. About 2 months ago, I was given the name of Trevor Loudon by a dear friend of mine that's on this program every week, and that's Doug Johnson from Colorado. And I called Trevor, and I've had him on my program now about 3 times. And Trevor Loudon has been invited to speak tonight at the King Fine Arts Center, and I'll let you tell everybody how to get there.
The King Fine Arts Center is at the Burley High School, which is on Park Avenue between 20th and 24th Street. And our meeting's going to be in the Little Theater, which is just on the east side of the King Fine Arts Center. Trevor Loudon is he's an author, and he's done extensive research and documented all of it, and kind of got it in there, kind of telling us who our enemies within are, which are many, many Congress and senators. There were some people said that why does someone from New Zealand have to do this information for us? And it's kind of like, well, maybe one of the reasons for his quest was that if America goes down or falls apart, the rest of the free world will follow.
He said that on our program. He told me that exactly in his own words on my program, that as a New Zealander and spending time in New Zealand and also a lot of time here in the United States, being on various news shows, Hannity, O'Reilly, etc., that he is firmly convinced that if the United States goes down, it's going to affect and have an adverse effect on the entire world.
Oh, it will, and that's what's so bad about it is that if the United States is in trouble, it just is like a domino around the world. The thing that's really interesting about what he does is and I haven't read his book totally, The Enemies Within, but he's got tons and tons of Congress and senators and how they're related to communists and their associates and stuff like that. And how they become progressive, and they're interested in one thing, and that's just staying in power and doing whatever rather than what's the best interest for the United States of America. And so this should be a really good meeting, and King's Discount stores are going to provide some door prizes, and there's no charge. And just to take a note out of the invitation that says, do your part, don't be a sunshine patriot only to sit at home and fret. Show up to the meeting and learn something.
Absolutely. Now, that's going to be tonight, and Deanna and I are going to be there, and Rita was gracious and said, we'll save you a spot on the ground floor, which I don't climb steps too well, so I appreciate that. But I'm looking forward to it because this man is convinced that we are in some dire times right now that need to be addressed by the voting populace of America to make things better.
Well, that's absolutely right. And what better time to find out some of this stuff before the elections? The Congress and Senate have put so many things on the back burner. We're going to wait till after the elections. Obamacare is supposed to hit in full force after the elections. And there's a ton of things that have been put off. And it's just because they don't want to have to deal with it before the elections, or they may have a very different ending for a lot of
Okay, now that's tonight at the King Fine Arts Center. What do they call that? The Little Theater?
The Little Theater,
Okay. And starts at 7 o'clock, promptly at 7. Trevor Loudon, excellent speaker. He's been on my program numerous times, and that's tonight in Burley. So, Rita, I compliment you for getting him in here.
Yes, it should be an excellent meeting.
One last thing before you go. There's another scandal, as if this administration could weather the storm of another scandal that's not been settled. Did you hear about what's happening with the Secret Service this morning?
I read an article this morning that said that there was, all of a sudden they're finding out that there's one more cover-up after the other, and a lot of those things that happened in 2012, they covered up so that they wouldn't affect the elections. Is there another one besides that one?
Well, no, the mechanics of it and the lying all the way to the press secretary at that time, Jay Carney. I mean, they showed clips of it this morning. Basically, the gist of everything is that there was a guy, 25 years old, that worked for the Secret Service, and he was over at this meeting, I believe it was in Guatemala, and they hired prostitutes on a credit card that the taxpayers were paying for and everything. They tried to hush up the scandal. They made it worse, and now everything's coming out in the open, and they're now starting to realize through their investigation that Janet Napolitano was even involved in the cover-up so that the news wouldn't be breaking before Obama was reelected. This is pathetic, Rita.
Well, there was just one thing after the other, and I'm sure that as history will prove to us in the next number of years, we're going to find out tons of things like that were hushed up and covered up, because we know of several that, the Benghazi thing, and of course the Obamacare was really going great guns about then. People were really happy about it, and so they tried to push a lot of it down, just like they're trying to change the implementation of various different things. The same thing with the Common Core. They did it a little bit at a time so that we could just ease into it and there wouldn't be a big hubbub about it. And there's a bunch of it supposed to take effect now, this fall. And, of course, we won't be into it very much until the elections are over with. And so there's just tons of things that are happening like that, and a lot of them affect us here locally. We might sit back and say, oh, that's, what they do in Washington. It doesn't really bother us here, but that's not really true.
Absolutely. Rita, I've only got 30 seconds left. Please give another quick plug for Trevor Loudon tonight at the King Fine Arts Center, the Little Theater. Go ahead, please.
Okay. He'll be here to visit with us. He's going to speak, do a question and answer, and he will have books if you want to pick up his book. It's at 7 o'clock at the King Fine Arts Center, the Little Theater, which is on the east side of the King Fine Arts Center at the Burley High School. 7 o'clock, and we'd like to see everybody come. Just come out and learn something. You folks out there that don't ever attend meetings and stuff, make it a resolution to start attending some of these and become involved. And we're going to have a lot of other national people come to different meetings and so forth. So, you need to kind of get in the realm of learning additional stuff.
All right. Rita Ramsey, we'll see you tonight. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
God bless.
Bye.
Thank you. Very nice, very knowledgeable lady. And don't forget that Trevor Loudon will be speaking at the King Fine Arts Center tonight, Little Theater, 7 o'clock. Okay. Oh, I'm hungry. So is Gina across the river and through the woods at the station. But when you're hungry and starving to death, I know some great places to go. How about Taco Bandito? Oh, 2301 Overland in Burley, Southern Baked Burrito, either soft shell or grilled shell, either chicken or steak. Oh, and then for dessert, have a pumpkin empanada. Oh, knock your socks off delicious at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Oh my goodness, let's stop over to Burgers, etc. 2 locations to serve you, 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Oh, they've got soup coming by Halloween. Nothing better than a bowl of soup. I love soup. And don't forget they got corn dogs. They've got, and burritos only 99 cents after 3 p.m. Oh my goodness. They've got all kinds of great specials for you at Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Let's not forget Steve-O's. Wow, that is a busy place. Everybody knows that food is made the way you like it at Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. They got a brand new entryway. Man, it looks like you're going into a castle. I love it. And they've got the best in food. They got the best in steak sandwiches. They got the best in pork chops with salad and potatoes. They've got the best of nachos. Oh, my goodness. And friendly people. Really friendly people and dedicated staff over at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. What about Duck Uglies? Oh, my goodness sakes, this is good. 163 West Highway 30 in Burley, right next to Berry Equipment and Rental. Oh, my, they've got a menu that is fantabulous, and they serve like the ribeye steak. That is my favorite. My favorite with a great big baked potato and everything. Oh, it's fantastic. And the shrimp and the salmon and all the different sandwiches, and Duck Uglies is kid and family friendly, non-smoking environment. You are going to love it at Duck Uglies on Highway 30. And last but not least, as we're hungry and starving to death, let's not forget the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, my goodness, they got pumpkin shakes. Here a shake, there a shake, everywhere, different shakes, but they've also got the pumpkin shakes, and they've got famous Farmer Brown burgers, and the ranch burgers, and the fries with the special sauce. Oh, it's good. AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. And those are just a few places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. Listen, I can hear her. She's kind of drooling on the microphone, aren't you?
Are you going to send me some food?
Now, I'm not above that because you do such a great job. You never know when I'm going to send you over breakfast or dinner or something like that.
You do, yeah. Mm-hmm.
No.
It's always nice to get those little surprises.
You deserve it. You do a good job.
Especially for the skinny chick.
I don't know how you maintain that physique, honestly.
I don't know either. Honestly, I don't know.
When you go to, like, at the ice cream social, I mean, you slug down about 37 ice cream cones. It doesn't even bother you.
I love ice cream.
I know, me too.
But honestly, I have no idea how I keep this figure because I don't eat healthy. I don't exercise at all. I'm just a mom, and I think that's what it is I've got my son to keep me active.
I can just look at a bowl of ice cream and my Wranglers shrink.
The button starts to pop.
Yeah, no kidding. Ice cream is just, I mean, I love ice cream. Man, I just can't get enough ice cream. Bill Cosby, I don't know if you remember, he did a routine on ice cream. And one of my favorite comedy routines, but I don't care what the flavor is, I love ice cream.
I am kind of particular on the flavors, but I tell you, my ultimate is Baskin-Robbins, the mint chocolate chip, the Jamocha almond fudge, and then I'm a real sucker for sherbets. Love sherbets.
Well, let me know when you're done.
Or you know what, the ultimate classic, vanilla ice cream with everything on it.
I love it. I love it. Mm-hmm. Okay, Fatty Arbuckle here, going to a news break. I'll see you in about 6 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back. Hour 3, whatever you want to call it. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, and our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. Thank you very much. Along with some of our great advertisers, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. We're going to be talking to them momentarily. And also our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Let's not forget the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. What is on the menu for today, Zeb? Thought you'd never ask. Today, this sounds good. Green olive chicken salad, served with veggies, choice of potato super salad at the Chadwick Sports Grill. Nice people, great menu items. You're going to love it. The Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Today again, green olive chicken salad with veggies. Really good. Right now, let's head on down to 459 Overland in Burley and Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. And we have with us today...
This is Jason, Zeb.
See, I've learned. I am not going to say names. I'm just going to let you step up to the microphone and say, "Hi there, radio audience. My name is Jason."
Well, you know, we get busy here, and... sometimes people have to fill in, I guess.
Absolutely. Now, what in the world is cooking over at your Harvest of Savings?
Well, Zeb, we've got kind of a unique situation where Simmons Beauty Rest has partnered up with us and on some special savings to do a certain promotion where you can get a king-size mattress and box set for the price of the queen, or the queen for the price of the full. So these are outstanding buys. Just to give you an idea, we have a Diamond Lifestyles plush, really nice mattress, normally $1,200. On sale, that puts the set on the queen size at $599, but under this promotion, you now get it for the full size price at only $499. So, just an outstanding value that across the board, all these different mattresses to choose from. And this is a limited time that the Simmons Beauty Rest is allowing us to do this. So don't wait. These are outstanding buys.
Okay, so now, ladies and gentlemen, listen to what he just said. It's a short period of time that you can make that kind of saving, and basically, tell me if I'm wrong, you can get a king mattress for the price of a queen, right?
Absolutely, and it's not just the regular price either. We have marked these down on sale. And then we're going beyond the sell prices, those bottom sell prices. We're going even beyond that and giving you the free upgrade. So these are outstanding values. Definitely something that you'll want to jump on if you're in the need of a mattress or know anybody. These are great buys.
Absolutely. Now, Jason, what else about the Harvest of Savings? I would imagine that you've got rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls of carpet down there.
We sure do. In fact, we just got some new rolls in stock. We've got, one in particular is a yarn overrun. And what that means is they have a bunch of leftover yarns. So they may make a couple thousand rolls of carpet, and then they just kind of blow them out. So we've got some carpets. These are, 50-ounce carpets that we have at price at $8.95 a square yard, just an unbeatable price. And so some of these roll specials we have in here, on general, they're going to be $10 to $12 a yard less than the normal price because of the way we get them and the way we stock them.
Mm-hmm.
And then even some of these yarn runouts, things like that, they're just outstanding values. So if you're needing to do a few rooms or an entire house, we've got the stock in store here. We can get you put in right away.
To beautify and comfortize. Is that a word, comfortize? Well, it is now. All you have to do is just get a hold of the experts at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Right, Jason?
Absolutely. We're here, Zeb, from 9 to 6 on weekdays and 10 to 5 on Saturday, just here on Overland and Burley.
All right. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland and Burley. Jason, God bless you, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Eb.
You bet. Have a great day. Thank you. Right now, it is time for Cassia County School Days, and we are very, very blessed to have as our sponsors of Cassia County School Days two wonderful groups, or sponsors, I should say, one of which is A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. They've got all kinds of things for the kids. You better believe it. Halloween's around the corner. They got 25% off on the costumes, and they got new shoes that have arrived, and they've got holiday dresses with hundreds of new infant outfits. Oh my goodness. Free gift wrapping and layaway at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And let's not forget our friends at Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley, with the life-saving colonoscopies. I stress that, I firmly believe that, and I encourage you to go have a colonoscopy performed by outstanding surgeon at Ambulatory Surgery Center in Burley. And for questions, all you have to do is call them at 677-8888. That number again, 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. And with us is the lovely information director, and I just really enjoy talking to her because she's really honest and open about subjects that we want to discuss. Debbie Critchfield. Good morning, Debbie. How are you?
I am well. Happy Thursday.
And the same to you. Now, I want to start things off today for this subject. It's a subject near and dear to my heart, and it's in regards to what our kids are being fed at schools. I have done many, many shows with a person that I have a lot of faith and trust in on a nationwide basis, and that's Kyle Olson with EAGnews.org back in Michigan. And I certainly want to say up front, I am not pointing the finger at any school district. I am not pointing the finger at any school cafeteria. But I am concerned in general, from sea to shining sea, that our kids get enough quality food to eat in the school systems and they're not going hungry. Debbie, what are your thoughts?
I agree with that. And our school district, and I'm assuming, and I'm sure, actually, that school districts across the nation have that same goal to make sure that children are not leaving hungry. Here's a staggering number for you. Last month, so September of 2014, our school district, between breakfast and lunch, just in our district, served just shy of over 55,000 meals for the month of September. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of lunch trays and a lot of cartons of milk that our students are carrying into the cafeterias. And so our lunch ladies, they have a pretty big job, not only trying to satisfy what students will want as far as taste and preferences and those sorts of things, but as we're all aware now, there are some new federal guidelines that they have to work under.
That being said, though, I think that is the point of interest for our conversation this morning. And, Debbie, I'm not going to mince words, and I'm certainly not going to, back down on my points on this, and I know you won't either. There are cases all across the country, and again, I'm not pointing the finger at any one school district, where the one size fits all. And that is not the way to feed kids. I don't care if it's somebody in the elementary school or if it's some senior football player. Many, many cases are proving that they're not getting enough to eat and the food is not tasty. How would you respond to that?
Well, we're certainly hearing those same things, and my own children have had those sorts of reports coming back home too, and we know, and I'm not going to defend the federal guidelines. That's, somebody else who came up with those. They can defend those, but I'll just run down some numbers. The guidelines for lunch, for example, a 9th through 12th grader, our lunch ladies are putting together a plate of food as far as the main course is concerned, that they can't have more than 850 calories in that. And if you have an active student, if you have a kid that came to school early and they're staying later for football practice, as a parent, you're going to have to throw some granola bars, or you're going to have to do some more, because that isn't enough for an active student to be full. And especially, like I say, if you're there the full day and maybe a kid was running late and didn't get breakfast for whatever reasons, those are the guidelines. One of the things that, that I do want to point out is that with those federal guidelines, choices haven't gone away as far as what families can do. Parents can still pack a lunch. Kids can bring a sack lunch to school, and there's absolutely no guideline over what a kid brings. They can shove their locker full of Cheetos and Twinkies, and no one is going to tell them that they can't eat those things that they bring from home. The rules apply, of course, to what is served in our cafeterias.
Debbie, I think you would agree with me, and I want to hear your response on this, because I'm really worried about this concept. 850 calories, but the caveat is you're different than I am. I'm different than the superintendent of schools or any teacher. We all have a different makeup. One size does not fit all, and I think the government standards have pigeonholed us into the same, all being the same.
Well, and I think that you're right as far as them setting one standard as far as the caloric intake and saturated fat and sodium. And so you've got these three guidelines that our district food ladies are in charge of developing a menu. Again, that's something that our children would want to eat. That's an important part. And providing them something that tastes good, that's important. And so as our kids go through, one thing that I will point out is that there is no limit. So, for example, if a kid's going through the line, they would get one hamburger if that was hamburger day. And 51, it would be a bun that's 51% whole wheat. Again, these are the federal guidelines. And maybe only a handful of tater tots, for example. One area that kids are able to go back for is fruits and vegetables and a salad bar and those types of things. Now, having said that, what you're getting at is that might not be enough for a kid, and it might not. And again, our high school kids are a little more active, and certainly we've got very active elementary kids. As a parent, I think it becomes important to take note of if your child is hungry during the day, what can we do to help supplement those things?
Debbie, when I was in high school, and like I've said many times, that's when they still circled the wagons at night. When I was in high school, I remember vividly at 9:20 in the morning, we all ran down to the main floor of the high school. They had a snack bar. We could have ice cream sundaes. We could have a bag of Cheetos or chips or cookies or whatever it might be. The point I get at here is that we all had to take physical education. In my graduating class of over 200 students, there were only two, one boy and one girl, that you would deem obese. Why have things changed so much, and we've got away from physical exercise, and it's too easy to blame food?
Well, I think it's a combination of the lack of exercise added with the fact that more kids are eating fast food, pre-prepared foods. Our cooking has changed as far as what kids expect and what they like. And, there really has been a big shift. And you can ask our cafeteria workers. Our kids aren't going up and choosing the salads and the salad bars. which again are the options that are available to go back and back again once you've paid for your lunch. Tastes have changed, and we're living in it's just a different food culture.
But I want to go back. I'm not trying to beleaguer this fact, but I'm going to stand firm that we need more physical exercise. And when they stopped the physical education programs to where it started nothing more than like a study hall, to where the kids went and sat on the bleachers in the gym and kind of read a book and talked about the boyfriends and the girlfriends, that's when these kids started getting obese. And I maintain to you that a strong physical fitness and physical education program will diminish the fat, obese student.
I think you're right. I'll tell you that in our elementary schools, it's no longer required to have a certified teacher is not your PE teacher anymore. That requirement went away, and districts flat out realized that would be a money-saving event, so to speak, that we can pay a classified person, a paraeducator, to come in and do what certified PE teachers had been doing in the elementary setting. And I hate to point everything back to budgetary cuts, but what you're talking about, those things go hand in hand.
Debbie, is there a problem in Cassia County with the school lunch program? I know that there's been stories in the newspaper, of which I always want to be fair and honest and look at things from both sides. But is there a problem? Are the parents and the kids unhappy with the food? Or are you happy with the numbers that are going through the lines?
No, we definitely have less kids going through the lunch line than we've had in the last couple of years. And, if you're going to connect the dots, you have to look and see, well, what is it that we're offering? I will say this, and I'm not, again, I don't care about who's developed the federal guidelines. Our lunch ladies do a really great job of trying to fit together under $2, a menu, every day something different that would be appealing to most kids. Now, that isn't going to mean that every kid's going to be satisfied and some kids are going to walk away hungry. But at the end of the day, the federal government hasn't taken away the option of eating the lunch or not eating it. It's not mandatory to eat at the school. And the schools have been good, especially our high schools, to try to work with different businesses and restaurants and so forth in the community to allow either open campus or other ways for kids to have choices. And again, if a kid, whatever they want to bring from home, if they want to bring 10 peanut butter sandwiches because that's what they need to fill out for their football practice, they can do that. And I know that's been a misconception. I've heard that a lot from parents, that there's sort of food police in our cafeterias, either demanding that children eat certain things or telling them that they can't bring or eat certain things, and that is simply not happening.
What would happen, and I'm almost out of time, and I may call you back and do a special segment on this next week, but what would happen if all of a sudden Burley, the Cassia County school system, said, hey, we're going to opt out of Mama Obama's nutrition program? What about the cost factor? Where would the money come from? What would you do?
We'd have to come up with $1.4 million a year out of our general budget to do that. And the effect to families would be significantly different. So I mentioned that it's about $1.85 for a high school kid to eat lunch at school. That's all because it's subsidized through federal funds. And so that would go up dramatically. And so we wouldn't have to be under the guidelines, and we could do some different things with food. But cost-wise, it would be a significant change. And again, into our general budget, which, we're struggling to buy copy paper. So it would be hard to come up with, like I say, $1.4 million to fund our food program.
All right, now I know that there's parents and people out in the audience that probably have questions. Do you have a centralized source and a number to where they can call, voice their concerns, and ask questions?
I'd be happy to speak with anybody or shoot them the right direction if they want to call our school central office, which is 878-6600, and ask for me or leave a message for me. If I'm not there, I will get back to folks and try to get the questions answered and get people pointed in the right direction, if nothing else.
If there's anybody on this program that I trust, it's you, because you've been such a wonderful straight shooter, Cassia County Schools Communications Officer, Debbie Critchfield. Debbie, if any other questions arise over this, more so than what we had this morning, call me. Let me know, and we'll do a special segment away from this, and I'll have you back on the air, okay?
That would be great. We want to work with our community, and we want kids to like the food, and we want them to eat. And, we want it to be a good experience. It shouldn't be something that kids dread going to lunch. We want it to be a positive thing. We want to make sure our parents have the right information and that they understand how this is working and the system that we work in.
Absolutely, and I want to say thank you again for coming on the program. You always do a great job. Debbie Critchfield, thank you very much.
Talk to you soon.
You bet. Thank you. I appreciate her candor and her honesty and the way she approaches subjects. Debbie Critchfield talking about the school lunch program. I'm going to ask a question here and see if the lovely Gina has our guest on the phone. Do you have our next lady, which would be, I got to look at my list here. I think we're down to Whitney Cheney. Is she ready?
Actually, I just tried to call her, and it just kept on ringing, so I'm going to keep on trying back.
Oh, okay, and so I'll sit here and just look at the clock, and I'll kind of go, I wonder where everybody is. That happens in live radio. At 10:30 this morning, we're going to have Lowell Ponte. I hope I say the last name right. He's a great author and has done a lot of study and research on the Ebola crisis and the vaccines and everything. We're going to be talking to him in about 3 or 4 minutes, so stand by for that. Let's see if Gina has Whitney on the line. Maybe they answered at this time. Where did Whitney go?
I am still trying to get her on the phone.
Oh, my goodness. What do you want to talk about for 4 minutes, kid? You got anything special?
Not really.
Oh, thank you.
I know. I'm just a bowl full of sunshine today, aren't I?
Oh, well, and by the way, I had some people call my cell phone yesterday. They were concerned, Gina, that there was some misinformation put out by Michael on the weather forecast yesterday about setting the clocks back this Sunday. It is not this Sunday. No. It's on November 2nd.
Correct.
And you do not lose any sleep, folks. You gain an hour. You gain the hour you lost by going on ridiculous daylight saving time in the first place. There.
Do you feel better?
I don't like daylight saving time.
I don't like it when we spring forward. When we fall back, that's A-okay with me, but springing forward,
And then you've got states like Arizona that don't abide by the daylight saving time, and I get so confused, and sometimes I'm calling people down there in the middle of the night.
And they're like, Zeb, what are you doing?
Yeah, they don't like that very well.
No, I just tried Whitney again and still no answer.
Oh, dear, I feel bad about that. Pardon me?
I sent her another note.
Oh, Deanne just sent her another note. Okay, well, hopefully. Well, we're almost running out of time, though. And you and I were talking about school lunches the other day. And I'll still maintain, and I appreciate Debbie Critchfield coming on here, but I think the more the government's involved, even though I know they'd have to come up with $1.4 million to replace the government funds and everything, Gina, I'm concerned about government involvement and the food police. There's been other areas of the United States that have tried to dictate about the school lunches, thou shalt not eat, thou shalt not have, and the less we can keep the government involved, the better we'll be. She's gone. Okay. Well, bring in the dog. Let's talk. Ruby, come on over here.
I do have Whitney on the phone now.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
God bless you. God bless you. Whitney Cheney, were you this morning? It's good to have you on the program.
Hi, Zeb. I'm glad you called. I kind of spaced that I needed to talk to you today.
Oh, that's all right. We're almost out of time in this segment, but I want to have everybody know real fast. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Tell us, what do you mean by repurposed furniture?
Well, we're getting old furniture and we're fixing it up. If it's broken, we're fixing it. A lot of pieces we're even changing them into different things. Like if it's a dresser or a coffee table, we might turn it into a bench or something like that.
Okay.
What's wonderful about them is they're completely unique, and they make great accent pieces in a living room or bedroom.
Okay, now you've got a lot of fall items coming in for decorating the home, and you've also got things for Halloween and Christmas. What kind of items can they expect to find at Cheney Flooring and Home Design?
We just have all sorts of decorative accents. I have just lots of Christmas decorations and fall decorations, just great things that you can put in your living room. And yeah, they just need to come check it out and see.
All right, now these do-it-yourself workshops, I am the world's unhandiest person. Could you even help me?
We have had lots of different workshops. The last one that we had was how to repurpose furniture yourself.
Oh.
The next one coming up, I think we're going to actually build a desk.
Oh, really?
Yes.
From scratch. You're going to teach them how to do it from the get-go, right?
Yep. Scratch.
Okay, now when's that going to be so that people can put it on their calendar?
It isn't completely scheduled yet. It'll be towards the end of November, and it's always on a Saturday, so the third Saturday in November.
All right, and then the other thing I want to mention is that you challenge everybody and say that you will meet or beat any price on flooring. Is that correct, Whitney?
That is correct, and we've been able to beat prices without even trying. We just have great prices, we have great products, and we have the best service around. All
right. Well, I'm glad we caught you. It was nice to talk to you. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue doors, 678-6945. Whitney, I'll have you back again. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you.
You bet. Have a good day. Thank you. We're going to send it back over to our main studios. I'll be right back. Don't you go away.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Welcome back, and we're on the home stretch for a Thursday, the last day of our work week right here on Zeb at the Ranch. I'm very worried, as I said earlier this morning, and I feel like I have not nearly the information needed to protect myself, my family, and my surroundings from the possibility of what may be a very serious outbreak in this United States of Ebola. I think all Americans need to try to get all the information they can about how this is transmitted and what can be done, what can't be done, medicines, etc. There's a gentleman right now coming on the program that I'm very interested in talking to. He wrote a piece called Ebola Drug Shortage Raises Terrifying Questions, and I say good morning to Mr. Lowell Ponte. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, Zeb. Good to be back with you.
It is my pleasure. And, Lowell, let me ask you, are you as concerned as I am that maybe the powers that be don't know as much as they perpetrate to us that they know? I mean, I saw the CDC news conference yesterday, and honestly, I left with more fears than what I had before it started.
Oh, I know. It was surreal. Now, either they know more than they're saying, or they say more than they're knowing. I think the problem with Ebola is we don't know how truly infectious the disease is. And it's transforming slightly all the time genetically, so it can become more infectious. We know that the strain that began this plague killing more than 3,000 people in Africa so far is actually one of the milder strains. And therefore, if anything, it's going to transmute into a more virulent direction. It might be easier to transmit. It might be even more lethal. This one killed 50 to 60% of the people who get it. They've had strains there that killed 70, 80% of the people who get it or more.
Lowell, what would have been the answer?
By internal bleeding.
Mm-hmm. What would have been the answer? I mean, this is hindsight, but you are very knowledgeable about this. What would have been the answer to curb, contain, and possibly stymie Ebola? Would it have been to basically draw a line figuratively around the congested areas and the contagious areas and try to treat it at its source with multiple medical people coming in from all over the world? What would have been the ideal situation other than what's been allowed to happen?
Well, the difficulty is this is not a region of the world that has highly advanced medicine or where people are accustomed to acting in a Western view of medicine. This is where people go still seek the treatment of witch doctors or curanderos. This is a part of the world where people are afraid, many of them, of Western medicine. They think, oh, someone is sticking a needle in my arm, they must be trying to kill me. And accordingly, it's very hard to persuade people to cooperate. It's very hard to contain a disease other than by quarantine. Now, what my column at Newsmax magazine Tuesday was about is this, that back in August, we had 2 Americans who were treating patients there come down with the disease. Mm-hmm. And we were already starting to write their obituaries in the newspaper when suddenly they received a new experimental treatment and both recovered. In fact, one is so healthy he's back at work already. And the question then is, what is this experimental treatment, and why aren't we using a lot more of it? It's a drug called Z-MAP, created by MAP Pharmaceuticals in San Diego, with, by the way, the funding of the Pentagon and others, as it turns out, in the government. It's made up of 3 monoclonal antibodies. This is not a vaccine. This is chemicals that, when you inject them into somebody, it will literally bind to the chemistry, to the proteins in the Ebola virus and lock it up. It basically ties it up so it can't easily reproduce or spread its infection. And this proved to be amazingly beneficial. It's not a universal cure. At least one patient receiving it has died anyway. But it's the closest thing we have to a cure. And here's what the question that concerned me. The company was on the verge of starting clinical trials with this drug. And yet, days after this happened, the Centers for Disease Control issued an announcement saying, oh, there's no more of this drug. They only had enough to treat 7 people, and it's all gone. Boys and girls, if you're about to start clinical trials, I assure you, as someone who for 15 years was the roving health and science editor at Reader's Digest, they had more than enough to treat 7 people. So a supply of drug that now has vanished. And the question is, to where did it vanish?
Right.
My guess is, having worked as a journalist in Washington, D.C., that the White House commandeered that drug. And they commandeered it for the most noble of purposes, which is to protect our nation. The president needs to protect not only himself, but the chain of succession. If anything were to happen to him, we have to protect the vice president. If the vice president were to die, God forbid, we have to protect the Speaker of the House, who's third in line, and so on. There are 18 people in the chain of succession. And they all need to be protected, potentially, as future presidents in an emergency by this kind of drug. My question is, why hasn't the president just come clean with the American people and said, yes, I either did or didn't commandeer a supply of this drug or put myself first in line to get it? It would reassure the American people if he did. I think it's his moral and legal responsibility to do so. But then that raises the next question. Once they've gotten the drug, who else will be protected by it beyond the chain of succession? Because by the nature of politicians, they're going to want to protect their own.
Absolutely.
Their own staff, their own co-workers, the heads of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the governors of certain states. There are a whole lot of people who would say, for the good of the country, I should be in line to receive this drug too. Meanwhile, I think they've stockpiled the drug, but at the same time, people are dying every day in Africa. People could soon be dying every day here if this drug spreads. And the question is, should the government be stockpiling this drug for every member of Congress, for every committee chairman, for the president's family as well as him, even though they're not directly involved in the governance? Does this go down to the mistress of the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee? You see the problem.
Absolutely.
Once the government has politicized the drug by taking control of it, then the government winds up determining who gets it. And the person who gets it may not be you or me, Zeb.
Absolutely. Lowell, let me ask you about the drug itself, Z-MAP. What about the processing procedure? Is it a drug, quote unquote, that can be readily processed and available to the public? Does it take a long period of time? What about the processing?
Reportedly, it takes a long time to make. We are, according to one source, months away at best from having any supply at all. And that's the problem in Africa. Even if we had the drug, they don't have the medical infrastructure to administer the drug efficiently to people who might need it. We barely would have that here. So it's not a drug we're likely to have in large quantities anytime soon, and only in limited context could you even use it to protect the population.
So where are we at?
And it also may or may not confer immunity. The people who survive Ebola tend then to be immune from Ebola. We don't know if that's true of the people who use this drug, which chemically will bind up the Ebola virus when you're taking the drug, but if the drug ceases to be taken, your body may not have any more immunity than anybody else to it.
I can tell just by listening to you in the last 7.5 minutes that your knowledge and your attitude and the way you convey your thoughts on Ebola and this drug, you're very knowledgeable. But what are your concerns right now? Where do we go from this part of the monopoly board, if you will? What do we do to protect ourselves? Is there anything we can protect ourselves by? And what do you think the future is going to hold over the next 1, 3, 6 months with this dreaded disease coming to America?
I think at this moment, the most effective thing we can do is isolate the victims of this disease, keep them from infecting others as best we can in Africa and elsewhere. You know, people say, oh, it might be racist or counterproductive for us to stop airline flights, for example, from these countries to the U.S. No, it wouldn't. I mean, their fellow African countries have cut off those airline flights. France and England have cut off such airline flights. It is simply a rational precaution that when you have the equivalent of typhoid Marys, you stop them from having as much contact as possible with other parts of the world. You limit the disease geographically, you limit the disease within communities and so on, and you just try to reduce the amount of contact. Remember, this is a disease that can be passed by you touching a drop of sweat from an Ebola victim. Much less having them sneeze a cloud of 10,000 little liquid droplets onto you, any one of which can infect you. This is an extremely dangerous disease, and the best tool we have right now in the absence of that drug for everybody is to just reduce contact, to engage in normal quarantine procedures of medicine. In the meanwhile, though, I think it's a good thing that the president might protect the chain of succession. I just want him to be straightforward with the American people and tell them what's happening.
So I want to reiterate...
It's not easy for a politician to say, I've expropriated the one drug that could save you and your children in a plague, and I'm keeping it for myself and my family.
Yeah.
That's kind of a hard sell.
Absolutely. I want to reiterate a point that you just made, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. Your knowledge far exceeds mine. It could be somebody grabbing a hold of the bar in a subway. It could be somebody picking up a coffee cup at a restaurant. It could be somebody brushing up against someone else. I mean, there's so many ways that you could contract this mutant or this virus, and I'm sure that there's going to be a mutant virus form itself to where it could become more airborne other than just in a salivic form or whatever. I'm just petrified about...
It could be weaponized in a variety of ways.
Absolutely.
It could be, by an enemy germ warfare program of some kind, including that of some of these Islamist groups. It could be turned into a hybrid that is half Ebola and half influenza, for example. So it would have the ability to spread even more easily and yet be Ebola or something like it. And it can just be outright used as a weapon. For example, if you have people willing to strap a bomb on themselves and then walk into a bar in downtown Jerusalem, you could also have people willing to inject themselves with the disease. They will not show symptoms for 8 days or more, and then get on an airliner and fly here. And as soon as they begin to become symptomatic, they may have days to walk around, contact crowds of people. And of course, the problem with this is that it's geometric. I mean, one person contacts 100 people, they all become infected. They each contact another 100 people, all of whom become infected, and so on. So this can spread incredibly fast. Oh, by the way, it's a bit off the topic, but what I had thought we were going to discuss today was my new book, Don't Bank on It.
Yes, I was going to get to that.
It's an amazing book about the 20 major dangers your bank accounts face and how you can protect yourself from that at a time when they're paying you zero interest for taking all that risk. If someone would like the book, and we do talk about a wide variety of issues in it, 800-630-1494 is the number to get it free and postpaid. We're not trying to sell it, we're just giving it away to help people. 1-800-630-1494. And God willing, we'll all survive the Ebola risk. I mean, we do have medical infrastructure here, but as you've seen, even doctors wearing hazmat suits if they leave one little crack open somewhere in that suit, have come down with this disease. I mean, this is a scary potential plague.
Lowell, on a scale of 1 to 10, with your expertise and your knowledge on this and all the writings that you've done, the way so far that it's been handled by this administration and the CDC in our country, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are we right now as an American public being concerned about this?
Oh, I'd say about a -2. The problem is the president was warned of this coming on months ago. He chose to just let it ride. Only recently has he sent the military there. The military is certainly trained in germ warfare, but these are not necessarily the ideal people to send. And in the meanwhile, in the name of political correctness, apparently he does not want to shut down flights coming from these countries here. The gentleman who died yesterday in Texas, he had flown via Belgium. So instead of coming directly here, he'd flown from Africa to Belgium and then Belgium to the U.S. And he had lied on the forms coming in. So this is part of the danger. If you have a terrorist organization of whatever kind, they could turn themselves into a series of typhoid Marys if they didn't care about their own lives. Come here and deliberately infect as many people as possible.
What about events that are going on naturally? We're in the middle of football season with the NFL and collegiate and high school football and huge gatherings of 60 to 80,000 people. What about the safety of going to those type of events?
You know, I hate to say that we let fear and terrorism win by simply surrendering our entire freedom and lives to that. But the difficulty they have, especially in Africa, is they say, oh, we can screen people getting on airliners just by a distant thermometer from a few feet or inches away, measuring their temperature without having to put a thermometer in their mouth or ear or elsewhere. The problem is, in Africa, a high number of people have malaria. It's often low-degree malaria, but it nevertheless means they're feverish a lot of the time. So if you find someone with fever, the chances are 90-95% it's someone with malaria. By the way, that is part of the legacy of other social do-gooders who said, we must stop using DDT in the world. Okay, they stopped using DDT. That unleashed the mosquitoes to come back to their previous numbers in West Africa, and those mosquitoes are what spread malaria. We've lost about 50 million people to malaria since they did away with DDT. And this is the problem with making political decisions based on political correctness. We've had a president who just doesn't want to stop airline flights from that region of Africa, but in fact, even their fellow African countries have done likewise, or have done that.
Absolutely.
Because they recognize a danger that we seem unwilling to recognize here.
Lowell, once again, before I let you go, tell us about your new book and the 800 number, and myself personally, I want to get a copy of that, so go ahead, please, sir.
Well, the essence of the book is my co-author, Craig Smith, and I had a mutual friend who walked into her bank one day. This is a bank where they loved her for, 15 years. Everybody knew her by name and greeted her. And then she walked up to the teller and said, today I need to withdraw $25,000 in cash. And suddenly all the smiles vanished, and suddenly an assistant manager was at her side saying, you can't do that. Why, we have to have that money kept here in the bank as part of our reserve. He didn't tell that much truth. But he said, why do you need this money? Do you have a note from your father? She's more than 40 years of age. Do you have a note from your father giving you permission to withdraw this money and so on? It was ridiculous. She had made the had the wrong idea that she owned her own bank account. But in fact, under current law, you don't. Your bank account is legally defined as an unsecured asset of the bank. What you own is the IOU that the bank gave you as a receipt. And therefore, the bank can, to a degree, withhold your money from you. More importantly, if the government decides the bank owes fines or penalties to the government can seize all of the bank's assets, including your account, to pay those debts. And most people don't know that. They don't know that when you see that little label in the window that says FDIC insured, that in fact the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation only has enough resources altogether to cover about 1 out of every $14 it insures. Your bank account is not nearly as safe as you thought, And our banks and companies in a world that we've now gone over to computers, and we depend on computers to protect us in, we've created a world where there are 125,000 cyber warriors in communist China who put on their military uniform every day and just sit in front of a computer screen hacking into Western computer systems, companies, and banks.
Well,
steal secrets and money. The next great war will be a computer war. Your money now exists only as little electronic blips in a computer. It doesn't sit there safely in a vault. It's already been lent out anyway.
Absolutely.
And therefore, you're much less safe than we ever used to be.
Absolutely.
In this day and age. And there are ways you can protect yourself, and that's why Craig and I wrote a 256-page, heavily documented book. Nevertheless, I know banking sounds dull, but this book reads like a novel. This is very exciting. A lot of fascinating gee-whiz information in it. We even tell you where words like money and Dixie came from in the world of money and banking.
Well,
so it's a great read, and it's totally free. We're just giving it away. We'll pay the postage. We'll pay for the phone call, too, to 800-630-1494 if anyone would like the book. It could save your life savings.
Absolutely.
Basically, it shows you how you can protect yourself.
And the title again?
Don't bank on it. The Unsafe World of 21st Century Banking.
I am going to get the book and then call you back for a repeat performance on the show. Thank you so much, Lowell Potty. I appreciate it. God's blessings, best on the book, and appreciate all your information on the Ebola virus that you shared this morning. Thank you again.
Hey, and thank you for being a beacon of light to your listeners.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you so much, and I'll be in touch. Thank you much. Lowell Potty on the program this morning, and be sure and get that book. I've got the number, 800-630-1494. They'll send it to you free. Don't bank on it. Talking about our money, our currency. Really? Maybe it doesn't belong to us. All right, we're going to have a weather forecast real fast, and the weather is brought to you by Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. Oh, my goodness, they are excellent. Locally owned custom meat processor for over 20 years. They sell taste one bite at a time. Absolutely delicious. Their marinated tri-tips. Oh, my goodness, all the meats for the barbecue grill. Still a lot of time to do that this fall. You check it out at Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. And right now, here is Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers for Zip at the Ranch. Good morning. Another nice day of a lot of sun, very little clouds, and some comfortable temperatures as we are well into fall. And believe me, you're getting some good fall colors in the Magic Valley of South Central Idaho. 75 again for the high today. Could meet 76, 77, but otherwise, another day of nice weather as we work our way toward the fall weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you very much, Michael. MichaelRogersWeather.com. And, of course, brought to you by your hometown meat cutter, selling taste one bite at a time. Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. Gina, I know you're there by your microphone, and I got to tell you, after visiting with some of these people on the phone and some of the people on this program, yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a chill up my backbone to the point where this Ebola scare is getting me more worried every time I listen to a story about it.
Yeah, and what I found fascinating is that there's no more vaccine available?
No.
When just a little bit ago there was?
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. And here's something that I found interesting when I was talking to him, and it was on the front page of his little story that he had written, that the drug, Z-MAP, has been produced in tobacco leaves at a Kentucky facility owned by cigarette giant Reynolds American.
Huh.
And you know the government stand against tobacco and smoking.
Oh, yeah.
And isn't it funny that this drug all of a sudden is gone?
I just find it all very ironic, and especially considering that the powers that be, i.e., the government's administration, really isn't saying anything about it.
No, and he said that it takes quite some time for the drug to be processed, and I was reading in his story that he had everything pretty well mapped out about what the World Health Organization has said and how long it would take to process ZMapp, and they have very little left, just enough to possibly go to the elitist in our society. And when I said on a scale of 1 to 10, this is the part that chilled me the most. On a scale of 1 to 10, I said, where are we at? And he said a -2. That really cooled my jets.
Yeah, we're not even on the scale of 1 to 10. We're below that, which is really scary.
Folks, take care of yourself, and the best way to take care of yourself is to become informed.
Exactly.
Real quick, I want to remind everybody about a huge tire sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All the tires are on sale for your cars, pickups, and your SUVs. Whatever, with the best tire value promise in the industry. The Open Country AT2, the Ultra Z900, Wildcat AT2. They've got a lot of the custom wheels on sale. They've got the best brake value promise in the industry. And, of course, don't forget shocks and struts and the front-end alignments and the batteries. Very important to have a good battery. We're going to be getting into colder weather. You want to make sure when you turn the key, it's going to vroom, and away you go. Don't forget to stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. That's going to wrap it up for this week. And already next week, we've got many people coming on from all points of the United States to visit about certain problems and issues. I'm looking forward to another great week, but I want to urge you to please enjoy the weekend. It's going to be a great weather weekend. Leave the dial right here, K-Bar, 12:30 a.m., and then, of course, Zeb Bell streaming live on the net, zebbell.com. And thank you for being such a great audience. We appreciate you. Gina, always a great job. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend with your boy Kennedy, and we'll see you next Monday at 8:06. Zeb at the Ranch, the way things were, the way things ought to be.